Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So before I jump into what this video is actually going to be about, I did just want to take a second and address what is going on in the world and what we can all do to kind of help the situation. I am not by any means a big platform, but I do have a small platform and I'm an individual person living in a world that is going to shit. And I felt the need to just kind of pop in here and talk about what's going on with the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm not going to be the first person to do this. I'm not going to be the last person to do this. I think this is going to be an ongoing issue. But I did just want to say that this is a very important movement. And, you know, getting justice and rights for everyone in 2020, it almost seems crazy that we still have to fight for this. But we do. And I think now more than ever, with such a big movement happening, we all have to be taking our part and pushing these changes to the max. Like, that's the only way it's going to happen. So with that being said, I know I'm not a big platform. I am not earning money from YouTube. I'm doing this for fun. So the best thing is I'm just going to provide you guys with some resources to join in on the movement, sign petitions, donate if you can. I can't do something like the AdSense, like where a lot of the bigger YouTubers are donating like money made from videos to support different petitions. I don't have that, but I am going to try to donate like a little bit of money where I can to some of the organizations. So if you guys are, you know, interested in helping this movement, there are definitely a few ways. And even if money isn't something that you can do, I get it. There's other ways you can help. First and foremost, like I said, I will leave links for donations based on the ones that for my knowledge, are very accurate and will be helpful in the long run. So I will leave links down there, as well as any links to like education or petitions that you might be able to sign to get this movement continuing. Otherwise, if you guys don't have the monetary resources, there are definitely, like I said, signing petitions, going to protest if you feel safe. I know for me, just in my current living situation and having people who I could possibly spread coronavirus to, protests have not been something that I've been actively participating in, but am encouraging peaceful protests beyond belief. But I am, and I hope you will too, also support Black and other creators of color on this platform, especially in BookTube, because it definitely seems that we don't have a large community of people of color who have booktubes, and it's kind of discouraging, and I would love to see more of that and for those voices to be raised and celebrated, because the ones that I do follow are excellent, and I would love to see more people who are participating in booktube and actually feeling the love and not just the diversity matters quotes. So go support them. I will leave a few down below if you're interested. And otherwise, you know, just keep yourself informed, keep educating yourselves, and, you know, stay safe in whatever method you do. We can keep pushing forward and keep doing this. Like I said, I know I just wanted to kind of pop in here because I don't want to be ignorant to what's going on in the world by any means. And all I'm going to say for what I'm doing is I am going to continue educating myself, celebrating the people that are in the world and making a difference, and putting my voice forward of saying, hey, we got to do this. Let's do it together. But that's all. Like I said, if you have any questions or if there's any further education that you want to share with me too, do it. Let's join this together. Otherwise, now that I kind of got this introduction out of the way, let's just get into the video where you've probably come forward to watch, which is me writing like Suzanne Collins. So I hope you enjoy, and let's all be friendly and civil human beings. Thanks, guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bree, and today I'm going to be doing my first writing experiment in ages. Yeah, it's been a really long time since I've tried a writing experiment, and I don't really have any excuses. The most I would say is that the time and energy sometimes it takes to do writing experiments, especially if it's more than a day, is usually more than I can handle because of my job. My job has been extremely busy, especially in the last couple months, and trying to muster up the energy to write has been hard. So I don't really want to use it as an excuse, and today I'm here at 7:15 in the morning, and we are going to write like Suzanne Collins. This video is partly inspired by Suzanne Collins recently releasing this Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I read and adored, and I love Suzanne Collins' writing and her way she conveys messages in her writing. The other part of this video is inspired by fellow YouTuber Cavanaugh, who typically does these kind of writing video experiments. And I just really love watching her kind of do the research and writing and then getting her takeaways. And I wanted to do this for myself. Oddly enough, she has not done writing like Suzanne Collins yet. So I was really excited for that because not that I didn't want to copy her per se, because I just really wanted to start with Suzanne Collins myself, but I'm kind of glad that I did pick a writer, an author, who she hasn't done yet. So, without further ado, let's get into some of the research that I found on how Suzanne Collins writes. So, first and foremost, I did try to see if there was any information regarding her morning eating habits or drinking habits. I didn't find anything regarding what she likes to drink. I found two possibly shaky, sketchy sources saying that her favorite drink is chocolate milk mixed with Coca-Cola. That sounds disgusting. I hope that's wrong, but maybe that is a drink where she's from. I think she's in the United States and I've never heard that before, so I have no idea. But I'm not doing that because I'm not a big, I do like chocolate milk, but I'm very picky on I like one specific kind of chocolate milk, and I can't do soft drinks this early in the morning. So I'm just going to stick with my normal coffee because I don't see anything contradicting that. The other thing that she mentions is that she starts her day with a bowl of cereal and no social media. So after I get my bowl of cereal, I'm not going to use my phone until I'm done, which is going to be hard, but also I think good because I frequently will use my phone to take breaks. So it's definitely gonna be a challenge, that's for sure. So let's just start there. Let's go get the bowl of cereal and I'll come back and we'll talk about the rest of her day. Okay, now that I have my bowl of cereal and the coffee pot is warming up to give me a delicious cup of coffee to continue my writing segment this morning, let's talk about how Suzanne Collins writes. Okay, as I said, she typically starts her day with a bowl of cereal because she likes to start early. She will take a quick bite to eat and then immediately jump into work in the morning. She doesn't like distractions and doesn't really check her email, social media, and really just waiting to open her laptop. She doesn't wait for the inspiration to strike, essentially. And I like that. There's two different things in the same interview that I saw on a blog. She says that she writes about 3 to 5 hours a day, or if she writes 3 to 5 hours a day, it's a productive day. She will try typically to write until mid-afternoon. And productivity kind of depends whether or not, how she feels. She will go out with distractions and sit and stare at a wall all day, apparently. And that could be a productive day if she feels like she's thought some things out. But my goal today is at least writing that 3-hour mark and actually being productive and getting some stuff done within that 3 hours. If not, kind of going the full length of 5 hours and maybe making it to the afternoon. I don't know if I'm going to be able to accomplish that. My goal is to start by 7:30, so 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. That's a solid 3 hours, and that's more than I write ever. I'm usually small spurts. If not, when I'm co-writing or writing in groups, that's the longest time I go, and typically we take a lot of breaks. So this is going to be really, really different from how I normally write. We also know that if you watch my videos, especially some of my writing ones, I do listen to music very often. I listen to wordless music most of the times when I'm writing. Suzanne Collins, for the most part, doesn't listen to much, if any, music. She kind of likes the silence. She likes the natural, quiet noises of the world. So I am going to start at least by opening my window and just letting the birds chirping kind of in, just to give me some ambience, but otherwise I'm going to try to be pretty mellow. She did say in a different interview that sometimes she'll listen to Mozart or classical music, like music without words, to kind of get her through the day. So if the quietness doesn't work for me, then I'm going to put on my typical playlist, because my typical playlist is music without words. So at least we're a little bit similar in that. In an interview with the New York Times, Suzanne Collins also said that she writes best at home in her recliner. She likes to use her laptop and used to, I guess, write longhand, but because of being a successful writer and, you know, having the access of a laptop, she changed to that. So I'm going to be sitting in my chair with my handy dandy laptop today, other than sitting at my desk, which is a really big change of pace. I almost never sit in that chair to write, so it's going to be kind of strange as well. The only last tidbit of information is that she does talk about some research. Now, she doesn't say if she specifically, like, tries to fast draft and then, like, tabs things to come back and research, or if she researches while she's writing. She doesn't actually say that, but she does say that she uses, like, she would go visit museums or historical sites or anything for inspiration, depending on what she's writing for that time. I cannot do that right now in the world. So what I am going to say is that if I do need to research anything, I am going to let myself just look up information as I go. Fun fact, I'm not going to be actually doing my young adult fantasy today, as I have been working on. I am going to go back to my young adult contemporary, and I'm actually really excited to go back to it. I feel like this is a great time to. It is Pride Month. My contemporary novel is LGBT, Own Voices, and I just feel like I've seen a lot of people asking about asexual representation in books, and there is some out there, but that is a big plot point of my book, and I'm just kind of like, people want this, I'm going to give it to them. So that's kind of the driving force. I think it's just time to go back to that novel. I've kind of missed it. I've been actually plotting some of, like, the weaker plot points that I didn't have when I was trying to do NaNoWriMo last year. I have some of that actually worked out now, so I think it's just ready. It's time. So I'm going to be trying to power through that. Part of my goal is going to be rereading some of the stuff that I already wrote and then adding or, like, spacing things out, because initially it was almost like a journal that, like, she was just talking about her day. So now I'm going to amp up and add some of, like, the beefier stuff to it and then continue the story. So that is where we're at. That is the day. So I'm going to finish my bowl of cereal, and then I'm going to go grab my coffee, and we are going to sit in my chair and start the day. And I will see you guys shortly. Hi guys, so it is my first check-in. It is 8:42 now. I have just written for an hour. I had to take one small break to run to the bathroom, but otherwise I do feel like I'm making some progress. I started the novel around 27,000 words, 27,850, give or take. I actually changed like 2 things and then realized I didn't actually get my word count. So now I'm at 28,056. So we added literally almost 200 words, which is pretty good considering that I'm just reading through right now. I'm on chapter 3. I had written back in NaNoWriMo up to chapter 11. So I think if I keep making through this day, if I keep powering through maybe for the next 2 hours, I might be able to read all the way through what I've written, and we might actually be able to start writing some new content for this book. I'm actually pretty excited. So my thoughts so far in this process, given that I just wrote for about an hour, I would say that it's definitely tempting to look at my phone. It is kind of weird to like not have any noise or music, but I'm actually kind of enjoying it, especially because there are some birds chirping outside my window, and that's been nice. There's also been a couple times like kittens meowing. There's a stray cat had a litter of kittens, and that's a little distracting because I want to go rescue all of them, but I can't find them. They're not actually outside of my yard. They're somewhere else around the neighborhood. All I can do is hear them mewing sometimes. Otherwise, yeah, right now I don't have any major opinions. So I'm just gonna keep powering through. I'm gonna go reset my timer, and we're gonna go from there and start hour 2. Wish me luck. Hi guys, check-in number 2. My second hour is up. I am actually almost at the end of my chapter 5 out of 11 chapters that I've been working on this morning. I don't really have any more thoughts. What I will say is working in my chair isn't necessarily the best. I actually don't like my arms being lower than my chest. So it's kind of uncomfortable for me to write. So I think like I just don't know how to actually rectify that while sitting in a chair, because I can like lift my laptop up, but my arms are still going to be kind of like lower where my hands are going to be, if you know what I mean. Like at least when I'm sitting at my desk, like I'm all kind of like properly sitting. So I guess posture actually means more to me than I thought. So that's the one thing so far that I'm recognizing. Second thing is like being like awake in the morning and doing this so far, at least for today, I feel like is going pretty well. Like my mind definitely wanders. Like I'm used to taking way more breaks than I have been. And this last hour, I didn't take any breaks. I just kept writing and working through, didn't check any kind of social media, didn't do anything. So I definitely like stayed true to this Suzanne Collins writing style process. But I definitely think I'm just a person who gets very antsy. And I think this is why I don't sit and write for hours at a time, because I feel like I need to be doing something else. So like for me, it's a long time to be sitting. That's really what it is. I mean, I definitely think like how I typically write is shorter bursts, like so maybe like 15 to 30 minutes, and then like I take a break and go do something. So it's just very different. It's not bad. It's actually working for me. And again, I don't know if it's just because I'm like really committed to this, or if like maybe having some days where I could do just power through and write, I will actually be more productive. So we're gonna start hour 3 now, and we're gonna see how well this works, and I'm gonna check in when I'm done again. Hi guys, it is the end of hour 3 already. Holy cow. I obviously didn't film a lot of like me sitting here, because honestly like I'm not typing a lot, so it is kind of strange just to be like watching me and then like typing here and there. But I did add some words. I only got up to chapter 7 since my last check-in, mostly because chapter 6 was kind of a doozy. There was a lot that was happening in there. I was kind of surprised. But like I said, so we started like again, just as a reminder, this is my entire day so far has just been rereading what I've already written and kind of adding to it, kind of adding some of like these small little details that are going to come up later in the story, things that I've worked out on my own in my own head and haven't actually been in there yet. I kind of have been working on how to make the story stronger, and I kind of figured it out one day in the shower a couple weeks ago, and I was like, yep, this is how the story is going. So we started the day at 27,858 words. We have added almost 1,000 words. We're at 28,764 now. So despite reading through things, I've added some words, which is awesome. And we got through about half. So at this point, I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be working for. I do think personally I need a break, and I give Suzanne Collins all the credit in the world. I don't understand how she does it. I mean, I guess if it's your full-time job that might make sense, but man, is this draining. So that's where I'm at. I think I am going to continue, and I will keep updating with my final thoughts at least by the time I hit, at least mid-afternoon or wherever we're at. So I'll be back to check in a little bit. Hi guys, and welcome to the end of my writing experiment. It is just past 1 o'clock, and I definitely feel like I've been really productive today. So I won't lie, even though Suzanne Collins said that she typically writes straight with no breaks, no distractions, I had to take a break. It was lunchtime. I was really hungry. We went out to get sushi, and I ate the sushi and then came back to write. So yes, I did technically take a break, and I guess therefore I might have disqualified myself from completing this experiment, but I still think I did really well. I worked for 3 straight hours, and then I ended up working for another hour after lunch. So personally, I think it went really well. So here's some takeaways that I have from this experiment. As I kind of mentioned throughout this, writing nonstop is kind of different for me. I don't normally do it. I will say, like, leading up to this, like, I knew I was doing this experiment today. I knew it was happening, and I actually was getting really excited for it. So I don't know if, like, just because I kind of set aside, like, I am going to be working on my book this morning, if, like, just setting that time aside reinvigorated me or not. I am kind of leaning towards the former, where I knew I was going to write today, and, like, that's all my plans were, and it worked really well in that manner. So if this was to become a daily thing, I'm not sure if I would feel burnt out, like if I was doing this over and over. But at the same time, if I was just a writer for my job, like if this was the sole thing I was doing, I could see me doing my mornings, like waking up right in the beginning, 6, 7 a.m. and getting right to work. I did 6 a.m. writing sprints, and I do want to recreate that one too. But I was pretty productive in the morning. I also think because most of the time, like especially with my job, it's a lot quieter. Either my husband's asleep or at work already, depending on the day, and my clients are usually asleep or at school, and I don't usually have a lot of issues in the morning. So I do always have that time. So as far as getting up in the morning and starting, that worked really well for me. I actually like that a lot. I was extremely productive today, and overall I completely read and added more to my story up to chapter 8. So I got through 7 chapters of editing / adding. And as I mentioned, I did have to add some stuff. Actually, my chapter 6 and 7 was the bulk of my additions, because that was where I started to kind of put in these little trinkets of what happened and why my main character is in the position she's currently in. That's kind of where I started adding a lot of stuff. So, yeah. So as far as waking up in the morning, that worked really well for me. We'll move on to the cereal in the morning. So lately, as I'm getting older, I think especially, I cannot eat first thing in the morning. I cannot eat when I wake up. And I realize that the earlier I eat, I end up feeling really sick. So unfortunately for the bowl of cereal, I did try to eat it. It made me so sick to my stomach that I only ended up eating like half of it. And I hate wasting food, but I couldn't do it. So as much as I tried to do that, I think, like, for me, doing any of these experiments in the future, any kind of food in the morning or like first start is going to be bad. I can definitely see myself waking up, starting to write, and then taking a break to eat, and then coming back. Like, kind of doing those breaks worked really well for me, even though it's not really what I did today. As far as sitting in my chair goes, I don't think I like it. It was definitely comfortable to sit in, but not really to type. I kept having to prop my legs up on a pillow and like moving my laptop to the edge of my legs. Like, it was really weird. Like, I did eventually get comfortable, but it took a lot of rearranging myself to feel like I can actually type without feeling bogged down. I really do prefer sitting up straight and kind of having my arms at like a 90-degree angle, I guess. And I didn't realize that I like to do that. So I give Suzanne Collins props. I don't know if her recliner, like, I don't know how the shape is, but my particular chair was not very conducive to writing. I didn't listen to any music throughout the day. Honestly, the best parts were the bird chirping in the morning, and then it did start to rain. Like, it was a real quick drizzle, but oh my god, it just like was beautiful just to kind of listen to the patter outside my window, and then I was getting the nice breeze rolling in. I loved that. And again, I think that's something really nice to do in the morning, especially if I'm writing then, because it's like just so peaceful and it's very quiet in my neighborhood in the morning. Otherwise, the only thing that I kind of touched upon was the research, and where I ended up getting to in my story, I didn't have to really add any more research in. So I didn't really do anything like that, but you know, it's still nice. And hopefully for other stories I do know, like I have done like some in-person research or like in-person practicing stuff, so I think like in the future I would definitely keep incorporating, like if I'm in court, if I'm including something in my story, I would either like to try to do it in real life or at least kind of like learn more about it as in person as possible. So there you have it. This was my I Write Like Suzanne Collins writing experiment. I wrote from 7:30 in the morning until 1:30 about in the afternoon, with one break for lunch, because I don't know how the woman does it, especially if she does write from like well, and that's the other thing too. I couldn't find what time she wakes up. She only said that she wakes like she starts her day. So I mean, in theory, like she could start her morning at 9 a.m. and then like obviously she has her cereal early and then writes from 9 to 1. But it kind of makes sense to have lunch there. For me, because I think I started so early, like I had to stop for lunch. I was getting really hungry, and especially because I really couldn't eat breakfast that early, just didn't hold for me. So otherwise though, I think this was actually really productive. I think I'm gonna set aside, like the one thing I'm gonna take from this is I do think I might set aside like some mornings where like I do plan ahead and I'm saying, okay, like I'm gonna write from like this time to this time, and just like not let myself get bogged down by anything, because I think that's my biggest issue is like I will try to like, I'll vaguely put like, okay, we're gonna write today, but I won't actually plan it in my day. So I think having that plan ahead of time of like, hey, okay, I know I'm not doing anything this morning, so let me write from like 7 to 9. I think that would work really well for me. So I might take that into consideration as I do further writing experiments or just when I write on my own. But for today, let me know what your thoughts are down below. Have you tried writing like any authors, any of your favorite authors or any popular authors, and how did that go? Is there anything that Suzanne Collins does that you feel like would work really well for your own writing style? And I don't know, if you have any other suggestions, let me know, especially if it's like, you know, oh, I would love to see you write like so-and-so. I definitely think I want to do more of these videos. It was super fun today, and I feel really good to get back into, one, a story that I put off again for a while, and two, just in general, getting back into a story that I'm really excited to write, and because I haven't wrote much in the last 2 months. So otherwise, guys, thank you so much for watching and sticking around. Until next time, I'll see you then. Bye.